Welcome to this Max lesson. We'll be adding a sales order line item using the line item detail screen. During this lesson, you will learn how to enter a sales order line item using the line item detail screen in Sales Order Processing module. If the switch for Use Quick Order Entry Sales Order Configuration item is set to N for No, then the Sales Order Line Item Detailed box opens upon creation of the order, as you will see in this lesson. If the switch is set to Y, you can enter information directly on the Sales Order Entry form. Entering sales order line items via this method allows for much more flexibility specific to the line item than when you enter it directly in the sales order form. You can either accept the default part ID information or modify the stock ID, GL account, due dates, and more. You can also close or cancel existing sales order line items from the sales order detail screen. Let's get started learning about how to enter a sales order line item using the Sales Order Line Item Detail screen. The Sales Order Line Item Detail screen can be accessed in a couple of different ways. First, if the Use Quick Order Entry configuration item is set to N, the Line Item Detail screen will open by default upon order creation. If the switch is set to Y, you would access the screen by double-clicking on the line item to open it. Entering a line item via this method allows for a more diverse group of options than when entering the line item directly on the sales order form. Not only can you modify the default part ID information, such as the stock ID and GL account, but you can also close or cancel existing line items from here. Additional functionality includes the ability to review notes, stock info, and extended fields. To get started, launch the Sales Order Processing module by clicking on the link in the System Manager. To learn how to open a new sales order, see the Max lesson called Sales Order Header. Here we can see an existing sales order that has two line items already entered and ready for us to add a third. To open the Sales Order Line Item Detail screen, double-click on the third line item, as you see here. Here you can see the Line Item Detail window with all the various options available to us when entering a new line item. We will first choose a part ID for this line item. If you know the Max part number, you can enter it here directly, or you can double-click in the Part ID field to open the Max part browser. The Part Sales browser window will open where we can browse for the part we want. To populate the browser with existing items, click the search icon. Once you see the part you want, double-click on it. The Line Item Detail window is now populated with the default information for the part stored in Part Sales. We can change most of this information on a line item by line item basis if needed. If you know that the customer for whom the sales order is for has a specific customer part setup for this part ID, you can click the Customer Part button to the right of the Part ID field and choose that. This button will open the Customer Part browser and show all of those parts. Next, we'll enter an order quantity for this line item. Press the Tab key to move out of that field. You'll notice that the unit price for the part is listed here. Let's say we want to add a 2% discount on this part. Click in the Discount field to apply the discount amount. Once you press Tab to move out of the Discount field, you'll notice that the discount has been applied to the unit price. The Stock ID field holds the primary stock ID for that part. That part ID, as entered using Inventory Part Data or the BOM Part Master, displays as the default on the Part Sales tab in the Part Maintenance screen. If desired, you can change the stock ID for this line item by entering a stock ID manually or double-clicking in the field to browse for an existing stock ID. If you double-click the Stock ID field, the Stockroom browser window will open. When the Stockroom browser opens, it will display the current stock ID for the line item. Click the Clear button to clear out this entry and take a look at all of the available stock IDs to choose from. When you see the one you want, double-click on the entry to choose it. The COC field is to mark Certificate of Completion if your company uses this method. This is a 3-character alphanumeric user-defined field specific to each line item. You can assign credit status to individual sales order line items. Only users with supervisory rights to the line item detail box can change a line item credit status. R stands for released. You may ship released sales orders. H stands for hold. You cannot ship sales order line items on hold status. C is for cleared. You may ship cleared line items even if the customer's status is hold. You may also change the credit status using the shipping form. The GL account field holds the general ledger account number assigned to the sales order line item. If you want to change the default account number displayed, you can either enter it directly here if you know it, or double-click on the field to open the account browser and choose one from there. The reference field is a user-defined alphanumeric field used to store information that is specific to this sales order line item. The user-defined key field is a 15-character key that is defined by the user and is indexed to hold information specific to this sales order line item. The user-defined reference field is a 25-character user-defined field that is used to hold information specific to this sales order line item. The customer due date is the original date the customer wants or has been promised for the displayed line item and delivery number. This date is for reference only and does not print on sales order paperwork. The current due date field is the date that the referenced line item and delivery number is currently promised to ship. If you're not using critical path lead time logic, this date defaults to the Windows system date or closest production date on which you added the line delivery item to a sales order. The current due date can be overridden, but it must be a valid working date as defined in the Max Shop Calendar. The current date is the date that's used by the MRP Explosion to net requirements for Max parts. Now that we've determined that all of the data for this sales order line item is correct, click the Save button to add the line item to the order. The box in the upper right-hand corner of the screen holds all of the buttons pertaining to actions you can perform on the line item being displayed in the line item detail window. The operations are to close the window, create a new line item, save the existing line item, delete the existing line item, close or cancel the line item. We will see a few of these buttons in action shortly. The Notes button takes you to your sales order line item notes. If you have standard order or part notes set up in your system, they will appear here by default. In this example, no part notes have been entered for the part being ordered, so the field called SO Notes is blank. You can add notes here by clicking in the line and entering them now. Now we'll look at the Sales Order Note option. Click on the Sales Order Radio button. Here we see two lines of standard order notes that are set up in the system. The columns to the right allow you to choose whether or not you would like the notes to appear on the Max sales order and invoices when you print them out. I'll select the boxes to have both notes print on the invoices. The notes were already chosen to print on the sales order, so I'll leave those as they are. Another way to edit the notes is by using the Notes Editor. This is just a different way of doing the same thing as typing directly in the grid, but typing in the editor screen instead. Click on the button for Edit Notes. The Edit Sales Order Notes window will open. You may enter any text that you would like here. Once finished, click OK to close the Notes editor. When all of your notes are as you want them, click the Save button. A message appears on your screen indicating that your changes have been accepted. When finished, click on the Close button to exit from the Sales Order Notes screen. You may click the Stock Info button to view stock available, stock already committed to sales, and total stock available in all stock locations for a selected part. The recommended delivery date equals the current Windows system date plus the critical path lead time for the part. When you click the button, the stock information window opens. The Test Extended button seen in this screen holds any user-defined fields set up by your Macs administrator to allow for additional custom fields connected to the sales order line item. To learn more about user-defined fields, see the lesson on user-defined fields to learn about how to set them up and use them in Macs. Now we'll take a look at the functionality behind the buttons at the top right of the sales order detail screen. Clicking Close will close the line item detail screen and take us back to the sales order form. Back in the sales order form, double-click on the first line item to open it up. And the window opens for Sales Order Line Item Details. Here, we will close the line item by clicking the Close Line Item button. This will change the status of the line item from 3, which is released, to 4, which is closed. Click Close again to exit the line item detail screen. Now let's take a look at the second line item. Double-click to open the line item detail screen for this line. Clicking the Cancel Line Item button will change the status from 3 released to 6 canceled. When you cancel a line item, the line stays on the order but shows as canceled and does not drive demand. When finished, click the Close button to exit the Sales Order Line Item Detail screen. Let's review. The Sales Order Line Item Detail screen can be accessed in a couple of different ways. First, if the Use Quick Order Entry configuration item is set to N, the Line Item Detail screen will open by default upon order creation. If the switch is set to Y, you would access the screen by double-clicking on the line item to open it. Entering a line item via this method allows for a more diverse group of options than when entering the line item directly on the sales order form. Not only can you modify the default part ID information, such as the stock ID and GL account, but you can also close or cancel existing line items from here. Additional functionality includes the ability to review notes, stock info, and extended fields. And that completes our lesson on entering sales order line items using the line item detail screen. Now that you have completed this lesson, you should understand how to enter the line items using the line item detail window. You should know that you can modify data within the screen, particular to the line item in question, as well as close, cancel, or open new line items. To see an additional way to enter line items on a sales order, see the Macs lesson called Adding a Sales Order Line Item on a Sales Order Form. Thank you for watching this lesson from Exact Training.